Hello, welcome to this live stream. I'm just starting a new one today, so that's exciting. Janice, hi. What type of paper am I painting on? No, this is not paper. This is canvas, but I've gessoed it with black gesso, and it's oil paint. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing this jar here. This one's steel butterfly. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, this jar is this canvas is really big, so just gonna kind of do one thing at a time and see how it goes. Hopefully we can get this one done, this jar done tonight. TikTok P810, thanks so much. Yeah, so starting a brand new oil painting today. This one is massive. Like this is huge. This is 40 inches. So I haven't drawn any of it out yet. I just wanted to get a little bit done here. Yeah, I'm going with 1-inch grids. So this whole canvas is 40 inches by 30 inches. I'm not exactly sure what that is for the European crowd. Something like I don't know, 80 or something. Yeah, we're gonna do this one first, this jar, and then I'm gonna start. I mean, this whole thing, as I've planned it out, has just so many different aspects to it. It's gonna be a really huge painting with like lobsters and there's a globe. There's a couple of skulls. Yeah, it's gonna be really wild. I don't know if I'm gonna have this one done in time for my show. I have a show in a solo show in December in Montreal, Canada. But I don't even know if I'm gonna have this one done. It's not a big deal if I don't. No, it's not a commission. I'm just painting another piece for my solo show in Montreal in December, and that's with Gallery Yoon. But I may not get it finished because last time I tried a huge piece like this, it took me a while, like 3 months or something. So I don't have 3 months. I only have a month. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Am I going to show time lapse of it? Yeah. Well, so TikTok has this option where you can download your lives. I think you have like 90 days to do it or something like that. So yeah, I might just grab this live and then maybe make a time lapse of it or something. That'd be pretty cool. For colors right now, I'm just using yellow ochre and white and black. I'm gonna be painting this, I don't know, like a copper or something. Not even totally sure. But I'm just painting it. I'm just kind of trying to imagine where the highlights would be. And, with something this reflective, you kind of have to, I really should be waiting to paint it last because you should paint all the things around it first and then you can paint the copper. And then what happens is you pull a lot of the colors from just what's around it. So we'll see. I may end up having to paint over a whole bunch of this, but that's fine too. I really don't mind going back into things. So I'm keeping the colors pretty simple right now. Just yellow, ochre, white, and black. Yeah, I have not done a painting this big in quite a while. Like, oof, a year, maybe. Almost all the paintings in my show. Thank you so much for the likes, by the way. Almost all the paintings in my show are 16 inches by 12 inches, or even smaller, like 10 by 8. So this one, if I finish it in time for the show, will be the biggest painting in the show. This is 40 by 30. Let me just back up. It's just massive. I have a lot to cover. So we shall see, as they say. We shall see. I'm just roughing it in here. Yeah, steel butterfly. Black gesso is the way to go for sure. Like if I had any sponsorship, it would be with a black gesso company. So I'd say like 95% of the people out there gesso with white gesso, but you can get black, but you can also get clear gesso, which is really cool. A lot of people don't know about that. So clear gesso is really good if you have, like if you're painting on linen, especially, because then you can actually show the linen. Yeah, it's pretty good. But yeah, black gesso is my standard. It's my go-to. White is just so bright and kind of almost obnoxious after a while. After you've painted on black gesso, it's just so much easier to judge tone and value. So I'm just dropping in some of this darker color here. Yeah, black gesso is amazing. It's pretty cheap too. Like I'll show you the one I have. I don't know where you're tuning in from, but I'm from Canada, and we have this product here called Demco brand, and yeah, it's good for oil and acrylic. It's really cool. So 16 ounces, and I think that's, I don't know, $12 or something Canadian, so like $10 American. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. I'm just kind of loosely blending this in. So this technique that I'm painting with right now is called alla prima, which means wet into wet. And it's a technique that you can do as an oil painter to produce paintings a little more quickly than maybe the traditional way, which is with glazing. So that's one of the great things about oil painting, is there are really a lot of different ways you can apply oil to the canvas. You can glaze, you can scumble, you can blend, alla prima and pasto, lots of different things. By the way, I just dropped a YouTube video on glazing. So if you are new to oil painting and you'd like to learn how to do glazing, please do check out my latest YouTube video. Yeah, you're from CA, you look for it. Awesome. I think I make edits. Says, I want to get into oil painting. What materials and stuff would be basics that you would need? Okay, awesome question, because I have anticipated this question and I have exactly the right answer. Okay, so I have a YouTube channel and it's the same as my username here, Mark Liam Smith. So I have 3 different videos you need to watch for sure. Number 1 is about supports. So that's like how to paint on paper, canvas, linen, panels. I have another video on just on oil paint, like what to look for when you go into the store, synthetic versus natural, what oil paint has fillers. I give recommendations. And then the third one is about brushes. I talk about fan brush, angle, filbert, round brush, square brush, bright brush. I talk about what the brushes are, what they do. So yeah, for sure. Like, do check that out if you are interested in oil paint. Can I show how I'm mixing the paints, the paints for color? Yeah, Devin. So here's my palette. It's just started this painting. So 3 colors: white. This is yellow ochre, and this is black. So everything I've done so far is just with those 3 colors. Pretty minimal palette, and that's because maybe I'll move it over a little bit this way so I don't get that glare. Yeah, so it's just trying to simulate some metal, but the thing is everything around it will be casting color onto the metal. So I'm just kind of getting a base down right now. Once I start painting the surrounding objects, then I'll be able to add more color into the reflections. So this is, I think about it like it's a base coat or something like that. I think that would be fair. Some oil paints are sludgy. Well, I use Michael Harding and Old Holland oil paints. So they're pretty consistent in their texture. But if I ever did encounter a sludgy oil paint, how I would handle it would just be to dilute it with some linseed oil. So it's exactly the, let me see, linseed oil, there you go. Yeah, so this is what I use when I want to, if I'm mixing an opaque paint and I want to make it transparent, for example, if I'm glazing, I would use that. And yeah, so if something kind of sludgy or whatever, then I would definitely make it less viscous, more liquid with that. This is oil. Yeah, this is oil paint. Knickers and I, good morning. Yeah, good evening here. It's 10:30 where I am in Canada. Thanks, yeah. Just dropping in these 3 colors. This is oil. Women Create Weekly. What's your favorite, oil or acrylic? Definitely oil. Yeah, definitely oil. I don't have the personality to handle acrylic paint. I'm always worried about the paint drying on my canvas, and it's anxiety inducing for me. Thinking about that I'm going to be wasting paint or it's drying. I got to get to it. I got to get to it. I got to hurry. With oil paints, it's not the case. I know that I can take my time. Can I show you your palette? Yeah, well, I just started, so I have like 3 colors: black, white, and yellow ochre. So not much going on right now. But you don't need a lot of colors to paint. This is pretty much just a monochrome painting at this point. Hello from Tennessee. You're from Canada. Nice. Yeah, Tennessee. I'd love to go to Tennessee. I'm a big fan of Southern food. I've been to Alabama a few times, but have not been to Tennessee. What mediums do I use? I just use linseed oil. Yeah, I'm not a fan actually of terpenoid or turpentine or mineral spirits. I'm not a fan of that stuff. It just makes it too runny for me, and I just like a little bit of linseed oil, and that's kind of it. I don't mess with like, unless I'm glazing, specifically glazing, which I'm not doing right now. I'm just painting alla prima. Yeah, I don't care too much about that stuff. Like, I think oil paint has enough oil in it already. You don't have to do much. It's definitely a personal preference thing. So I would encourage you to just kind of experiment, see what you like. Did I go to school for art? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I did lots of things in university. I did 3 different degrees, but one of the degrees I did was a BFA in painting and drawing. And but the thing is, I didn't go to an art school. I just went to a regular university in Canada that had an art program. So we they didn't have proper ventilation, so we weren't even permitted to paint with oil. So yeah, I do have a lot of experience with acrylic paint, but I didn't get any experience with oil paint from university. So that's kind of where that went. And then yeah, I didn't really do anything with it, my painting degree, and then I picked it up after many years of just doing a regular job, like a suit and tie job. I kind of left it a little while ago and started painting again, and then yeah, here I am. So really happy to be back painting. I've been painting professionally now for about 6 years. And like professionally, I mean, like I'm represented by galleries, and I show in art fairs and like that kind of thing. Just kind of breaking up the texture here. Just kind of punching the canvas while it's still wet. I can kind of get away with this. Yeah, I really like watercolor too. I'm terrible at it. I just think watercolor is so unforgiving. Like you have to really have excellent brushes, and every mark counts. With oil paint you can just make mistakes, no problem. And but you can't do that with oil paint. It's just with watercolor paint. You can't. You just have to do it right. It's really nerve-wracking, I think. Yeah, just I hear that, Tripucci, just the act of painting. Yeah, I really think that's true too for me. What famous painter do I follow, like on social media? I think a lot of the most famous painters don't even have social media. Like Jenny Saville and Peter Doig. I mean, there's some living painters that I would follow if they were on social media, but they're not. I don't know. Andres Salgado. He's a Canadian painter living in London right now. He's pretty active on social media, and he's really an incredible painter. He's not on TikTok. I think he's just on Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, follow him, see what he's doing. What am I using? This is oil paint and a canvas. I've just gessoed it with black paint. So I'm just using 3 colors right now. I'm using black and yellow ochre and white, which is keeping it fairly minimal at this point. I'm not worried about detail right now. I'm just trying to get the basic tones in here. And once those are good, I'll be able to put more detail in. Am I experienced in portraits? Yeah, I would say so. My first series as an artist was all portraits. I actually did a series of 48 different portraits that I showed. Yeah, I'm pretty experienced with portraits. I am a colorblind painter, so for me, portraits was all about. I had to learn a lot of color theory because skin tones are very desaturated. It's a lot harder to paint with colors that are desaturated. For me, anyway. go down to a smaller brush for the finer details. I think this will be okay for now. Am I using reference picture? Yeah, so what I do is I create my own references. So I have over the years created a digital archive of thousands of images based on hundreds and hundreds of paintings, and I cut them all these paintings, I cut them out, and then I reassemble them to create original work. It's part of my narrative, part of my artist statement. It's all about reassembling and reassessing history. So yeah, so I do use a reference, and then but I make it myself, if that makes any sense. So this particular jug is a jug that was painted by someone 400 years ago, but not in this way or in these colors. And then I've put it into a painting, very much unlike it was in originally. In your painting, will the vase be sitting on the surface, or will someone be holding it? Oh yeah, so this is a huge, huge, huge painting. It's like this big. It's 40 inches. And it's basically going to be a big table with just everything on there. Like pots like this, and just everything. Fruit, lobsters, skulls, books, musical instruments, vases, glass vases, porcelain, like tablecloths, a turkey. Just it's just packed. It's just so crowded. Yeah, it's so the topic. I'm talking about opulence, and in this piece, so it's going to be all these things, just really crowded in there. Should be a good time. Should be pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I probably won't be able to get it done. I'm just in time for the solo show. So if it takes me much longer, then so be it. I hope it doesn't take 3 months kind of thing, but sometimes these things do. And I just have the 3 colors, or if you don't think black and white are colors, I just have one color right now. So I'm using black, white, and yellow ochre. And yellow ochre is the earthiest yellow. It's and it's actually the oldest paint in this series that I'm making. I have a painting that talks about yellow ochre. It was used by Homo erectus as early as 300,000 years ago. They found a cave in Kenya that Homo erectus used yellow ochre to make paintings. Really cool stuff. More of a drawing than a painting guy? Yeah, me too. That's why I tend toward like small brushes and meticulous painting, because I just I definitely come from a drawing background. I come from comics, actually. That's how I got interested in art, was through comics. So yeah, I hear you on the more of a drawing guy situation. Do I always paint in such a dry brushing way? Well, no, this isn't dry brush. This is alla prima. So I'm doing all of my blending right here, like right on the canvas. And then the question is, do I always do it? No, not always. It depends, like first layer, yes, for sure. But then once I have a color down, then I can paint, I can either scumble or glaze. I see scumbling and glazing more as modification techniques rather than painting techniques. So, but all of that comes after the fact. The initial coverage is alla prima. I don't do very much in pasto at all. But yeah. Where do I buy all my art supplies? Yes, I'm using oil paints, Capri Sunny Honey. Mario Judah, where do I buy my art supplies? I buy my art supplies. I'm from Canada, and there's an art chain out east here called Dessert, and so I buy most of my art supplies from there. But when I have occasion to go into to get to Curry's on Queen Street by the Drake Hotel, that's one particular Curry's that I go to that has quite a good selection as well. And I guess the only exceptions to that would be when I'm buying Michael Harding paint. I get that from Gwartzman's in Toronto. You can also get it from Articulations, but yeah, it's pretty hard to get your hands on that. I think those are the only two places in all of Canada that have Michael Harding oil paint, which is just the most amazing oil paint you can get. Just better than Old Holland even, I would say. For pigment load, there's no filler. Just really Oh, thanks so much. Saying that it's relaxing to watch me paint. Yeah, I'm just trying to get this work done. There is a lot of it to do. So these kinds of things come together reasonably quickly. Just going to put a little more yellow ochre into here. That transition was not quite as smooth as I like. I'm just using this side of the brush here and kind of scraping it around. Same thing, just all around the highlights. Metal's really fun to paint because they have, there's a lot of variation. So again, most of this will have to go once I get the surrounding objects in. And because they will, of course, be reflecting their own colors. But for now, this is good. This is where we're at. Steph Meisters, I love seeing your painting progress. When do you typically go live? I typically go live in the evenings, but in terms of like when exactly, it's really tough. It depends kind of where I am in my my YouTube videos are kind of my priority. So it depends where I am with those, and then also just like producing TikToks. I do how to draw content on TikTok. Mostly kind of like for people just kind of learning. So it usually depends on that stuff. But if everything's kind of squared away and I can get on as early as 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then, usually I paint till 11 or so. How long have I been drawing, and how long did it take you to get good? Well, I've been painting since university, so that's quite a while. I've been a professional now for about 6 years. A painter, that is. But I've been drawing for much, much longer than that. I started drawing comic books when I was a kid. So I'm much more comfortable with drawing than painting. But I'm pretty comfortable with painting now. But I've been painting for about 6 years. Yeah, drawing's awesome. I really like drawing. You learn a lot when you draw. You learn a lot about yourself. Oil painting's really good if you need to practice patience. Am I done with the flower series? Well, no, I'm definitely not done with that series. I have, I think I have 18 pieces for my solo show in December. If I get this piece done, I will be entering that as well into that show. But no, definitely not done. My next show as well will be flowers. Still lives. I mean, it's not just flowers, it's lobsters and skulls and it's all kinds of things. Do I know how to draw angel wings? Because you struggle when drawing them. Yeah, I do. I do know how to draw them. Google an eagle. I've drawn some eagles, some angel wings before, and I think eagles have the best wings. So just Google eagle wings and then use those as your reference. Did I do the grid myself? I did. I gessoed this canvas with black gesso, and then I used a white pencil crayon. This is oil. What's the favorite thing to draw when I'm bored? I don't know how to answer that question. I don't get bored. I don't know how to answer that question. I really like painting. Well, like I paint every day. I paint between 6 and 10 hours a day, and I paint flowers. I paint skulls. I paint food, like fruit and lobsters, and I just paint a lot of things. But no, I don't get bored. I think there's just so much to do. I don't even have a TV. I got rid of my TV. Hope you're never completely done with your flowers. No, well, I've been painting flowers for 3 years now, so I'm going to be painting them. Just the possibilities are so endless with flowers. It's so cool, and metaphorically, it's just a really cool subject to paint with. So, and then you talk about art history. Okay, so I think I'm probably ready to put in some details now. I'm just going to try to soften some of these transitions. You'll draw a mushroom with lots of eyes on it. Okay, cool. Knickers, thank you so much for the flowers. Appreciate that very much. Hasakokun. Hello, I'm Japanese manga artist. Hello, konbanwa. Irashaimase. Sumisu Maku desu. In mythological terms, they're interesting. Your color makes them breathtaking. Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much. Mario. No, your English is great, Mario. I totally understand everything you said. Yeah, starting to pop off the canvas a bit. Yeah. It's and it's just two colors, right? It's just black and white and this yellow ochre. Just try to blend, do a little more blending now. What's my favorite brand of paint? Well, I have I would say two favorite brands of paint, but for different reasons. So my favorite brand that I use is called Michael Harding, and it's a brand out of the United Kingdom, out of England. And I like Michael Harding because it has no fillers. It's just the pigment and the oil. It's very, very high quality. I put it up there just slightly ahead of Old Holland, but way ahead of all the other ones. So Michael Harding, and then my other favorite one is Gamblin. And it's not as good as Michael Harding, but it's the best bang for your buck. Even though the quality's slightly lower, it's still very professional grade, and it's extremely reasonable pricing wise. So yeah, that's what I would say. Gamblin and Michael Harding. You tried the bat, turned out looking like a chihuahua. I mean, you just keep trying. Yeah, they really are very similar though. Like the bat's eyes are lower, obviously, but and smaller. The ears are bigger, but yeah, they're very similar. I mean, all those little mammals are. What's my opinion on anime? I love it. I started in comics. I'm not an active consumer of it right now, but yeah, all of the sequential arts, you would call it, I think are a highly underappreciated form of art. Okay, I'm gonna switch brushes now, so I can start getting into a little bit more detail. I have the essentials down. Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is going to be a big one. I have all of this to go, so we will be here for a while. Obviously, not finishing the whole thing tonight. But yeah, over the next little while, we'll see how it goes. Okay, going in with a smaller brush now, and just gonna try to get some stippling in. And I see these little dots. And I think this is copper. And you kind of imagine that it might be engraved somehow. Getting those highlights. The thing whenever you're painting metal, you have to go extreme in both directions, extreme bright and extreme dark, and it's that difference that that will make it appear to be metallic. Very, very high highlights and low lights. And just these little dots, these little indications are going to read like copper. I really like painting metal. It's so you get a really extreme range. You get the highlights and the lowlights, and just like if it works out, it looks really cool. It doesn't always work out, but if it works out, it's cool. So I'm just adding those now. Just kind of picking spots where the light might be picking up some highlights. You're going to get a little bit more color, in this case yellow ochre, just where the main light source is. And I'm blending that in. It's kind of a stippling effect here. We'll make it appear just like a dulcet copper that's been kind of hammered in. Okay, I'm gonna move over to, I guess I'll go back down over here. I do have to be careful because I'm only using black, white, and yellow ochre. So obviously when the black and the white collide, I get gray. So it's really going to bring down that saturation. So I do have to be careful with that. I mean, it's fine if it's desaturated slightly. It's not a problem, but it is something to be aware of. I'm going to focus on this top part now. So for those of you just joining, this is an oil painting that I'm just starting. This is the first day. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. This it may or may not go into a solo show I'm having in December at Gallery Yoon. I'm just not sure if I'll be able to finish it in time. If I can finish it in time, it will go into that solo show. Otherwise, it'll go into the next one. So there's no rush. Just take my time and try to create a good quality painting, one that I'm proud of. I think it's really important not to rush your work. So once you finish it, it goes out there. It's in the world. You can't get it back for touch-ups. Excuse me. These ones are a little bit, just a little bit light for my liking. Okay. Try not to put my hand in the paint. For those of you who are looking for Christmas presents, I've just opened a store 4 days ago, actually. My online store. I just opened it, and I have made available 32 different paintings, 32 of my paintings, and I've kept the prices pretty reasonable, I would say. Most of them are $25, and then some are $40, and only the really big ones are higher than 40. So yeah, if you are interested in picking up some art, maybe for the holidays, maybe as a gift, maybe for yourself, yeah, I'd like to direct you to my store. It's there's a link in the bio, or you could just go to markliamsmith.com/shop, and I have lots of different paintings up there, prints of my paintings. So I'd love for you guys to check it out if you're into it. Thank you. Coming across there's this like central line of highlights here, so trying to hit it. just a little bit across this side too. Not too much. It's always better to imply details than to put them in. It's one of the tricks, I think. Just kind of don't exactly put in details, just imply that they're there. I'm just going to keep working on this area here. I'd like to just make this lip a little bit brighter. Yeah, something like that. Well, let's work on the spout now. See if I can get that to a place where I'd feel comfortable leaving it. So I'll start with the black. Across the top. And then it's just kind of down. Maybe here. Just to distinguish from the main part of the pot there. I think that's quite an important line. Looks like a shower stall. Okay. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe because of the grid. Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, the background grid. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like to get my grid down, and so when I draw the things, I can make sure I'm not drawing them too big or too small. Just kind of keep everything in the places that I originally intended them to be. Because these are quite big paintings, it's easy to lose your way. It's really easy. Just adding some highlights to this, to the spout here. And I think what's really important is when you add highlights, when you're trying to create metal, is to go right to white and all the way back down to black. And that's what gives it that really kind of metallic shine. It's that full range of contrast. Not contrast, yeah, full range of value. Kenta, thanks so much for the rose. What's the intended outcome? I guess the intended outcome is a finished painting. This I'm painting a whole bunch of objects on a table, and I'm speaking to opulence and decadence. And so I have a bunch of metallic objects and lobsters and oysters and things like that. Porcelain. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that very much. And just on the other side here, kind of the same idea. Thanks, designed by Felicia. Thanks so much. Tombstone, hello. I'll go back to that large brush now and just try to blend a little bit more of this. Show you what it looks like from that side. I guess the glare is a little bit biting. Okay, we'll leave it where it was. Just gonna go with a little, just darken it up on this side here. course, depending on what other objects are in, I end up painting, I will probably have to add a whole bunch of color to this. But that's okay. It's fun painting it like this. And then I can always paint over when I have to add new color to it. That's gonna be fine. I like how I paint the reflections of small sparkles instead of making it glowing. Yeah, I just little dots tend to work. Like it's different for different kinds of metal. So, I imagine this to be kind of aged copper or something like that. So, not the shiniest metal, not the, maybe like, not super reflective. It's not like a mirror. It's not going to be like chrome. Chrome is really intense to paint. Okay, I'm just going to work on this handle here now. See how this goes. Okay. I'm gonna go switch over to the highlights now. So yeah, if you have any questions about the art world or painting or what it's like to be a colorblind artist, just drop them in the comments. And yeah, I'd like to just tell you guys about 4 days ago I started my my online shop. So that's a new thing for me. If you guys are interested in picking up a print, I have now 32. I put 32 prints of my paintings up in my online shop, and they start at $25, and I think I have like 7 or 8 at that price. But most of them are like $40 or $25. So yeah, if you want some prints, please do check out my shop. It's there's a link in the bio. It's also at markliamsmith.com. and just kind of adding some details here. Oh, thanks so much for the panda. I appreciate that. I hope you liked my panda tutorial I just dropped yesterday. That was a fun one to make. Oh yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm just gonna take care of some more details here. Switching back to this larger brush. Just gonna see if I can darken the bottom part here, where you would expect there to not to be too much going on, not too much light. Just like I said a few times already, that I probably will have to end up changing a lot of this just because of the objects that are around it. You know, this is metal and it is reflective, so there's there's not much to be done in that sense. I just have to go with whatever colors are around. But anyway, it is a good start. Pretty happy with this as a start for this new painting. Yeah, there will be glass in this composition. There are a lot of glass. It's a bit of a texture challenge for me. So I have metal, I have glass, I have porcelain, I have wicker, I have silk. Yeah, all wood, all kinds of textures are going to be in this one, and then just natural textures as well, like fruit and things like that. So Yeah, it's going to be pretty intense. This one is going to be, well, it's not quite as big as the giant one I did in 2019 that took me 4 months. It's not that big, but it's close. Like this is 40 inches by 30 inches, so pretty intense. Oh, thanks so much. Well, don't say your art won't be somewhere. It's just a lot of practice, and yeah, you never know. Like I've been painting for quite a while now, so just keep at it. If you think that you improve with every painting, and then you assume that you have like 10,000 bad paintings in you, and the sooner you get those out, the sooner you'll be painting amazing paintings. Painter for life, thank you so much. Best advice I can give to a painter just starting out? Yeah, that's a good. Okay, so I'll start with advice first, and then I can get into tricks after. But the best advice I can give to a painter just starting out is promise yourself that you won't show anyone your first 10 paintings. And as soon as you take that option off the table, like the option that somebody's going to see it, then you're suddenly free to experiment with the medium. Painting is very unlike every other kind of way you can make marks. It's not like drawing at all. Some people are drawing with color. No, it's not. It's very different. And you need to get to know how to do, even if you have color theory, like even if you use colored pencils or Copic markers or something, even if you have that, you don't have how the paint moves, how much paint on your brush you need before you have to go back. So these are all things you have to learn, and you learn them only by experience. I mean, there's some kind of intuitive feeling you can sort of tap into down the line, but mostly it's just experience, just practice. So if you promise yourself that you're not going to show any of your first 10 paintings, no matter how good you think they are, then what you're going to do is you're going to just experiment with the medium. And don't try to paint something that looks like something. Don't try to paint a portrait of somebody that you like, or don't try to paint a landscape of one of your favorite places. Don't do that. And because what you're doing then is you're focusing on the content instead of the form. You need to focus on the form, on how paint moves, how it blends. There are different techniques for painting, and yeah. So that's my best advice. for somebody just starting to paint. Still life is my favorite genre. Yeah. I've been painting still life paintings in the Flemish Dutch tradition now for 3 years. I've only been a professional artist for 6 years. So yeah, well over half of my professional experience. I have if you are interested in learning how to paint, I have a YouTube channel that is designed specifically for people learning how to paint. It's kind of a from couch to easel series. So I go over brushes, I go over supports like canvas or paper or linen or panels. I go over everything like color theory, and I'd recommend my my YouTube channel if you're interested in learning how to paint. Do I have a big collection of objects? I have a huge collection of objects digitally. I have photos of many thousands of things that I all put together. My channel is the same as my TikTok name, Mark Liam Smith. So it's all like Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everything's Mark Liam Smith. Photo reference or actual still life reference? I use all photo reference, but so I have collected over the years hundreds and hundreds of digital references. So, and then I put them all together like kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. So I'll just move them around and create an original composition in Photoshop, and then use that as my reference. Oh, awesome! Thanks so much for checking out the YouTube. Birati. Thanks for the follows and all the likes, everyone. I really do appreciate that. Gracie Cujo, welcome. So this painting's really, really big. I'll show you. It's all the way out there, and then this way, all the way over there. Each of those squares is 1 inch. So it's it's massive. It's going to be a big table, and then on top of the table, it's like teapots like this, and baskets full of fruit and books and skulls and lobsters, and it's just so intense. It's gonna kind of be this huge piece. Do I paint on canvas or board? So I paint on both, and this is canvas, but most of my show is on board. This is 40 inches by 30 inches, but most of my my exhibition is 16 by 12 inches or smaller, like 8 by 10 as well. So I have mostly it's board. One-year project? Like, is this gonna take me a year? I don't think so. Last time I did a huge piece was 60 inches by 48 inches. It took me 4 months. But that was the first time I ever tried this kind of painting. So this one's gonna go a lot faster. I don't know. It might take me 2 months. I really have no idea. But if I can somehow get it done in a month, then I will put it into my solo show in Montreal. I just don't even know it's possible. What's the inspiration for this piece? Yeah, so it's working in the same vein as my last 50 paintings have all been kind of the same subject matter. And that's dealing with Flemish and Dutch still life painting from the 17th century. So it's kind of just in line with all that stuff, talking about history and reinterpreting history through my own lens. And yeah, so this particular piece is to do with opulence, because you see, well, you don't see it yet, but you're going to see porcelain and lobsters and turkeys and just glassware, silverware everywhere, and just abundance, just too much of everything. So and we'll see how it goes. I hope I don't have to paint over too much of this stuff. Depending on what I have, what other elements are around, I may have to paint over some of it, adding different colors. But we'll see. Okay, I think that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you everyone, for those of you who joined. This is what brush do I recommend? This is just a pretty cheap brush. It's just it's one of those like 12, you get 12 for 20 bucks kind of a brush. They hold their shape. This is, I think, long and, I don't know what it's called. Royal and Langnickel. Yeah, as long as they don't shed hairs and they hold their shape, then I just go for it. I tend to spend my money on paint, not on brushes, so that's something I'll be working on, improving my brush quality down the line. But yeah, I never really got into it. It's kind of a throwback from art school where I just spent all my money on paint instead of brushes. But yeah, I think that's it for me. So thank you all so much for joining. If you are interested in picking up a print, yeah, please go check out my online store. I have 32 of my paintings available from starting at $25. I have like 8 available at $25, and then I'd say most of them are about $40. But yeah, if you're into this kind of thing, still life flower painting, I have 32 prints there. Link in the bio, markliamsmith.com/shop. I appreciate all your support. Have a good one. Good night.